Hello my viewers, this is the story of Amarachi, a young lady who fell in love with a guy in the city of Lagos, Lagos State, Nigeria. Amarachi met this guy some time ago in 2016. He was selling shoes at Ojota Main Market and Amarachi was a teacher in a primary school. The guy's name is Charles. He was a good man and even though he wasn't rich, he was very generous with the little he had. This motivated Amarachi and she decided to contribute to his life because of his good character. Amarachi wanted to continue her education to higher institution to further her studies at the College of Education and she was saving up gradually for it. Same time, Charles also wanted to continue his studies. Charles was very intelligent, so Amarachi decided to give him her savings to add up to his own so he could go to school because after all he's a man and if he becomes successful, it will affect me too, Amarachi thought to herself. In 2018, Charles got admission to the University of Lagos to study business administration in Lagos State University. Charles had a boy who looked after his shop when he went to school and because his wares were cheap, he was able to also establish himself on campus. Charles only had a single room when Amarachi met him. The room only had a bed and a small TV. Amarachi decided to buy a small refrigerator so she could cook in bulk and store it for him. She also got a microwave for him and was constantly at his place. By the time he was in third year, Amarachi and Charles decided to live together so Amarachi took a loan from her workplace and added up to what Charles had and they rented a room and a parlor where they both stayed. Amarachi and Charles loved each other. She felt happy and grateful that she was building a life with someone and even though her mom didn't approve of most of the things she was doing for Charles, she eventually had to accept it because of Amarachi's resilience. Her mum is a small businesswoman who sells foodstuff in Ojota Main Market too. It was during one of her visits to her mum's business place that she met Charles. Anytime her mum's goods arrive, she would call her and give her a good quantity of food for Charles and herself. Amarachi and Charles literally lived like a couple. At some point Amarachi got pregnant for Charles but they both agreed that they weren't stable both emotionally and financially to become parents so they decided to terminate the pregnancy. Amarachi got employed at another good school that had a better pay and she also taught some pupils for extra lessons after school hours so she was earning more than her previous school where she was teaching. She also started saving all over again to continue her school. By then, Charles had finally graduated and in his department he was one of the 4 best students who made a first class. Amarachi was so proud of Charles and she decided to buy his suit and shoes for the graduation ceremony. The suit was 20,000 Nigerian naira and the shoes cost 9,500. Amarachi was so happy. After school, Charles was recommended to Zenith Bank by his professor to do his National Youth Service called NYSC. After his service he got a 6-month contract to work there. Eventually, he sold his shop to his boy that was assisting him then but still ran the business on social media because he still knew his suppliers. And the business was moving on well online because he branded it well on social media, for which sometimes, Amarachi used to assist him in doing the deliveries in his behalf. Amarachi and Charles decided in 2022 they'll get married. Amarachi had successfully bought her forms for higher institution by then and she was preparing to go to school. But as fate would have it, one day she stumbled on something on Charles' phone. Charles was seeing another woman outside while he was doing his National Youth Service and by then they had started dating. According to the text message she read, Charles had already denied Amarachi before his newfound girlfriend and have also promised to marry her. Amarachi was shocked to her bones and she couldn't believe what she was seeing. She read the message countless number of times and she decided to confront Charles about it. Charles did not deny it. He confessed and eventually told her that the lady whose name is Damilola is currently pregnant for him. But Charles still assured Amarachi that he was still going to get married to her as she desired. From that moment Amarachi never remained the same again and she knew that the marriage thing was going to be something like a thank you or compensation, not on the basis of love and affection for each other anymore. Amarachi cried deeply. She did cried out her heart and intestines but it doesn't change anything. She didn't know how to tell her mum about it or anyone to talk to because some of her friends too were not in support of how she was helping Charles and contributing to his growth earlier. Charles begged her several times but Amarachi knew that the whole marriage thing wasn't going to be the same again after she discovered Charles's secret affair with Damilola. When she finally got admission to school, she decided to end it with Charles. He begged, but Amarachi was so hurt that she didn't want to consider marriage with him again. When she finally resumed school, she decided to end it with him. She sent him a text message telling him that she wants to move on with her life. Charles didn't beg her further to stay. He just thanked her for all her efforts and contributions to his success and for all the support she gave him. Then he sent her 10,000 naira. In the days that followed, Amarachi sank into despair. The betrayal weighed heavily on her, and she cried until she felt numb, and almost losing her mind, she summoned courage and decided to call her mum and told her everything. Her mum told her to return his money, which she did. Charles decided to move from the apartment where they both rented and paid an additional 3 years for Amarachi. But she wasn't comfortable with that. She told the landlord to rent the house to someone else and take 30% of the money and give her the remaining 70% because she couldn't live in that same room anymore with all the trauma and memories. Amarachi took the money from the rent and gave it to her mum. Later on, she discovered that Charles got married last year to Damilola and they both have a son now. Currently, Amarachi is still there trying to pick up the pieces of her life together and move forward. Very soon she will complete her studies and hope to get a good job. Life still has to be lived, said Amarachi. My viewers, love often calls for sacrifices, but it's important to ensure that the sacrifices are mutual and not one-sided. Amarachi gave too much of herself without ensuring Charles was equally invested in their shared future. Amarachi's story is a reminder to prioritize self-love. While helping others is noble, it's crucial to secure your own stability and dreams first. Amarachi's story is a powerful tale of love, betrayal, and redemption. It teaches us that while love can inspire great sacrifices, it should never come at the cost of one's dignity or dreams. Life may break us, but with courage and resilience, we can rebuild and thrive. My viewers, please subscribe to our channel to support our work. Thank you so much. We love you.